Today we're going to talk about CBT level 5, and we'll look at the agenda will be the course and the course structure, what the coursework is that's involved in this course, how you can progress after doing the CBT level 5 of CPCAB, and then some space for some questions and answers. Okay, so sorry, I think my mic has muted again. It's muted itself, or maybe my mouse muted it. I'll go back just if I can, and say that we're going to talk about the course, about the coursework in the agenda. So the qualification then, as I said, enables you to enhance your integrative practice, but does not enable you to call yourself a CBT therapist. It's a standalone therapeutic modality, but it takes more time and study at postgraduate level in order to call yourself a CBT therapist. The CBT framework puts forward that it's not what happens to us in life that determines our reactions, but our beliefs about what happens. In CBT, we work at looking at maladaptive thoughts and behaviours to enable clients to make changes in their lives. And contrary to what many believe, key to this is the relationship between the therapist and the client, and the ability of their client to engage in therapy and tasks outside of the therapeutic hour. So if you just look at this diagram over to the right, you can see that it's made up of core beliefs. So those are very deep beliefs that we hold about ourselves, about others, and about our future. And then we have on the outside circle thoughts, and thoughts drive our feelings and drive our behaviour, and vice versa. So those are the three main elements of CBT. The course structure then will be informed by theory of CBT. So there will be certain theoretical concepts that you'll be learning. There will be written work that you'll have to do, a presentation, and some skills practice. So the coursework then, you'll be interested to know what this consists of. In CPCAB, it's portfolio work. So you will have to produce a portfolio which evidences 7 learning outcomes, which I will show you in the next slide. And in that portfolio, you will have learning reviews, which are similar to what many people have seen as a personal learning record, maybe something that some of you are familiar with, and it's similar to that. There will be testimonials. Testimonials are peer reviews. So if you do group work, your peers can write up how they felt you covered some of the criteria in the group work. There'll also be tutor observation, and that will be my observation of your skills work and also observation of the presentation that you'll give before you hand in your case review. So the case review presentation then will cover the 7 areas that your case study or case review that you send externally to CPCAB will cover. And the case review presentation gives you an opportunity to present to the tutor and to the class what you might be putting in your case review that you're sending to CPCAB. I, as a tutor, don't see the case reviews. It's completely separate from anything that I assess. It's externally assessed. And so it is an opportunity for you to see if you're heading in the right direction with your case review. The case review then will be externally marked by CPCAB. It will be sent off around mid-June, and it's a 3,500 word review broken down into 7 sections of work that you have done with one client over a period of at least 6 sessions. The assignments then that you have to do, as well as the portfolio, are 2 essays of 3,500 words. So 3 major written pieces of work and your portfolio. You have 30 hours of clinical practice then that will be signed off by a supervisor. That supervisor then will give you a report, and you'll also have client log of the hours that are worked in those 30 hours. So these are the learning outcomes then that you will be, your portfolio is based on. Each of these learning outcomes has some sub-learning outcomes, usually 3 or 4, but I've just put the main headings here to give you an idea of what sorts of things will be covered in the course. So the first learning outcome then is to work safely, legally and ethically as a counsellor using the CBT approach. So that's in terms of your ethics, and if you think about confidentiality, what legislation is it that you have to follow in terms of confidentiality and how confidentiality might be limited. We're talking here about working safely in terms of risk assessment and ethically the ethical framework of BACP or the National Counselling Society. The second assessment criteria then is use a CBT framework to structure the therapeutic relationship. So most of you will perhaps be working as counsellors and already know that the therapeutic relationship is key to any good outcome in therapy, and the same is true of CBT. But CBT relationship is unique in as much as it is much more collaborative, and the nature of the CBT alliance really changes throughout time working with your client, because you start off your sort of teaching and guiding, and then you're encouraging your client to become their own therapist by the end of the sessions that you have with them. The third learning outcome then is to integrate understanding of diversity in CBT work. So we're very much, CBT is based on, as I'd said before, the thoughts, the feelings and the behaviours, and it's very much European, white European centric. So we have to understand that different cultures will look at their beliefs may be different and behaviours may be different. So it may be that some CBT work might need to be adapted depending on your client's cultural background. And also the more micro culture. So how is your client different from you? As you may have been brought up in an urban environment, your client might have come from a rural environment, and how might that have shaped their beliefs and their behaviours? 4 then is to use a coherent CBT approach to work with individual clients and their needs. So for this is discussing how you come up with a case formulation for your client, how you come up with goals for your client and the treatment plans and the interventions then that are necessary for your client's needs. 5 is to work with self-awareness as a counsellor using the CBT approach. So our self-awareness is very important, and in this learning outcome we look a lot at using interventions on ourselves. So things like an ABC model of CBT or the 5-part model or the 7-column thought record, different interventions, behavioural experiments, and what we can find out about ourselves by using these CBT interventions on ourselves, and how that can increase our self-awareness, and why it's really important that we increase our self-awareness when we're working with clients. 6 is using CBT theory, research and techniques coherently within counselling work. So you're going to look at the theory behind the CBT, you're going to look at research and what it says about CBT, and then what interventions and techniques you will use integratively with your counselling work. And 7 then is monitor and maintain professional effectiveness as a counsellor using the CBT approach. So this is where we discuss supervision. It's where we look at continuous professional development, and where we monitor what audit tools we might use in monitoring the relationship with our client and how the interventions that we're using have worked. Okay. So this is just it in more diagrammatic form. So first is about safety, so grounding your practice in a professional framework. Second, about the relationship, genuinely connecting with the other person. Third is the difference in diversity, so we see each person's uniqueness. 4 is focus on the person. So we're listening carefully to their needs and their wants. We're doing making up a case formulation, the goals and the treatment plans. 5, self-awareness, staying in touch with our own thoughts and feelings. 6, the theory, skills and techniques, understanding how to use them coherently. And 7, absorbing learning from the experience. So at the end of the year, after while you're working through your portfolio, you have to do send a case review or a case study to CPCAB in England, and that's your external assessment. So it is not assessed by myself as a tutor, but instead it's assessed by the tutors and lecturers at CPCAB. And in order to sort of prepare for this, first what you'll do is give a case review presentation to the class. And again, it's something that can be a PowerPoint presentation or a set of notes. It's just something where you present your client to the class, and you can get peer supervision and you can get tutor feedback. So it's a presentation of what you intend to include in your case review. It gives you an opportunity to see how others are approaching their case review and for the tutor to give feedback also. And then you have the case review itself, which is a 3,500 word case study on one client for at least 6 hours, divided into 7 sections, and each section must be passed in order to pass the case review itself. You'll be given guidance on what you should be included in each section. And then in terms of course progression, level 6 qualifications for candidates who have undertaken a level 5 diploma. So the level 5 diploma in psychotherapeutic counselling or equivalent, plus have at least 1 year's post-qualifying experience, can then go on to study the level 6 certificate in therapeutic counselling supervision. Or if you prefer, you could do a foundation degree then, if you haven't already done a foundation degree. If you're coming in from a level 4 pathway, there's the opportunity to do the Open University foundation degree in counselling. Okay, so this is your opportunity now. If there's anything that I have discussed that has left you with some questions that I haven't covered fully, please feel free to ask some questions then.
Okay, Mary, just first of all, thank you so much for taking us through that presentation. It was very informative. My name's Nicola Hearn and I'm a lecturer in counselling too. So Mary, I see that we've got a number of questions there. So firstly, when does the course start?
So the course will most likely begin in September, usually around mid-September. I'm not 100% sure of the dates as yet, but it's normally around mid-September.
Okay, thanks for that, Mary. And again, is it evenings or is it daytime in terms of when it runs?
The course is run currently on a Tuesday evening from 5 o'clock in the evening until 9 o'clock in the evening. Again, I'm not certain that that will be the case next year, but in the past few years it has been run on a Tuesday, so it's most likely to be a Tuesday, 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock p.m.
Okay, thanks for that, Mary. And the last wee question there, do you actually need to be employed as a counsellor to attend this particular programme?
You don't need to be in employment, but you would most likely need to have a volunteer post as a counsellor, because you do have to cover the 30 hours of one-to-one work with clients and at least 6 sessions with the client that you're going to use for the case study.
Okay, that's super, Mary. Thanks so much for the presentation and for answering all those questions there that were posed. I just want to wish everybody the very, very best with their studies and their future learning, and it would be lovely to have you at SERC. Thanks so much, folks.
Yes, thank you, everyone.